Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Kala Sanji Radha Kala Sanji Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Shri Radhamadava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Pramanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Canto 1, Chapter 8, entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti, and we're on text 18. Okay. Kunti Uvacha Namase Purusam Tvadyam Namase Purusam Tvadvam Ishvaram Parate Param Ishvaram Prakrate Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antir Bahir Avishchatyam Antar Bahir Avishyatyam Namase Purusham Tvadam Isvaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Svarva Bhutanam Antar Bahir Avishyitam. Bolo, please. Kunti Uvacha Namase Purusam Tvadyam Ishvaram Prakrite Param Aklaksham Sarvadbhutanam Antabhir Avashitam. Kundri Gopika, would you mind? Kunti Uvacha Namaste Purusam Tvadyam Ishvaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antabhir Avishyitam. Kunti Uvacha Namaste Purusam Tvadyam Ishvaram Prakrite Param Alakshayam Sarva Bhutanam Anta Bahir Avishyitam. Okay, let's go by the word translation. Kunti Uvacha Srimati Kunti said, Namaste, let me bow down. Purusam, the Supreme Person. Dva, you. Adyam, the original. Ishvaram, the controller. Prakrite, of the material cosmos. Param, beyond. Alakshyam, the invisible. Sarva, all. Bhutanam, of the living beings. Anta, within. Bahi, without. Avishtitam, existing. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, because you are the original personality, and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Please repeat. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, because you are the original personality, and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Wow. In and out and invisible. Okay, purport. Srimati Kunti Devi was quite aware that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, although he was playing the part of her nephew. Such an enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisances unto her nephew. Therefore, she addressed him as the original Purusa, beyond the material cosmos. Although all living entities are also transcendent, they are neither original nor infallible. The living entities are apt to fall down under the clutches of material nature, but the Lord is never like that. In the Vedas, therefore, he described as the chief among all living entities, Nityo Nityam Chaitanas Chaitanam. Then again, he is addressed as Isvara, or the controller. The living entities, or the demigods, like Chandra or Surya, are also, to some extent, Isvara. But none of them are the supreme Isvara, or the ultimate controller. He is the Param Isvara, or the super soul. He is both within and without. Although he is present before Srimati Kunti or as her nephew, he was also within her and everyone else. In the Bhagavad Gita 5.15, the Lord says, I am situated in everyone's heart. Only due to me one remembers, forgets, and is congenite, etc. Through all the Vedas, I am to be known because I am the compiler of the Vedas, and I am the teacher of the Vedanta. Queen Kunti affirms that the Lord, although both within and without all living beings, is still invisible. The Lord is, so to speak, a puzzle for the common man. Queen Kunti experienced personally that Lord Krishna was present before her, yet he entered within the womb of Uttara to save her embryo from the attack of Asvatthama's Brahmastra. Kunti herself was puzzled about whether Sri Krishna is all-pervasive or localized. In fact, he is both, but he reserves the right of not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls. This checking curtain is called Maya energy of the Supreme Lord, and it controls the limited vision of the rebellious soul. It is explained as follows. Om Ganantinurandasya Gananjana Savakaya Chakshuram Mrityam Yenya Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Vanchikal Patruvyascha Kripasinivyevacha Patigram Vanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Pashatai Veshachani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivsadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, before class start, I was asking what text we're reading today. And Mother Kunti kindly said 1:8:18. It's a very famous verse, right? And it is. So, in the translation, we're understanding that Kunti is first establishing Krishna as the original personality. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, I'm the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything is imitating from me. The wise who know this engage in my devotional service, worship me fully with their hearts. So, Queen Kunti fully knows this. She knows that everything is coming from Krishna. He is the personality which everything is imitating, and her as a wise person, very wise, is worshiping him with all her heart. So we also can understand Krishna as the supreme person, and everything emanating from him. So when we have opportunities to do some devotional service like this Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand that everything's emanating from Krishna, and that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all advice, to glorify him as the original person. And in that, we can understand that Krishna is a person, and he's personally interacting with us. So, in Srimad Bhagavatam, each and every day, we can understand that this personality, Sri Krishna, and through his wonderful devotees, his pure devotees, he says his representatives, are speaking to us. And we can come out each day understanding that there's a message within Srimad Bhagavatam class for each and every one of us. And through the day we can have a nice meditation through that Bhagavatam class. What is it Krishna's trying to say to us? What's the gift that Krishna has given us each and every day through Srimad Bhagavatam? What is the gift that Srila Prabhupada is giving us each and every day through Bhagavatam class? So, it says, Queen Kunti says, you are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. Well, we understand that as the creator of something, you are not bound by it. What do I mean by that? If you're the creator of a vehicle, then you're the controller of that vehicle, right? I know the ins and outs of the vehicle, how to make it turn right. I know how to turn it, especially the engineer, right? The engineer knows not only how to turn it right or left, but knows exactly why it turns right or left. And he's the controller of it. So Krishna similarly has the original personality and the controller of everything. He is not bound by Maya. It's his energy. It said that Krishna is like the sun, and the clouds are in the sky. And the clouds are impeding our vision of the sun. But when you come above the clouds, then there's no doubt that the sun is always present. Similarly, Krishna is always above the clouds. He's the highest. He's never under the clouds in the sense of being illusioned or covered by Maya. And so therefore, when we hear Krishna speak Bhagavad Gita, we can know that this is coming from the Supreme Person without any conditioning, right? And the most wonderful thing about not only our lineage of parampara is that we understand not only has Krishna given us in the pure form this knowledge, but his pure representatives have also learned it in the mood of understanding perfectly what Krishna is meaning through their bona fide spiritual master, and they are giving it to us. So this is the line of disciplic succession, and we can be very confident that we're hearing from Srila Prabhupada in his purports, and we're getting exactly what we need to understand, what Krishna is saying and what he's meaning. Or in this case, what exactly Queen Kunti is saying, right? Then she explains you are both existing within and without everything. And Srila Prabhupada nicely in the purport explains that Krishna is in the heart of every living entity as Paramatma, and he is without, right? He's not only without in the sense of his energies, but he's also out in the sense that he is a person. When we come to the temple, we're so nicely get to see Radha Kalashanaji, he's there. He's also within our heart, but he is right there, present. And being him there that he's present, we have a great opportunity that we can pray to him in so many different ways. He can always be with us, right? We come to the temple and we see him straight face to face, and we get a chance to pray to him, to be with always and within our life, to help to guide us and understand how best to serve his pure devotees and his devotees, his community. And then when we're away from the temple and not seeing Radha Kalashanaji face to face, we can remember him in our hearts. And as Paramatma, he will show up and he'll help us and to give us the intelligence by how to serve him best. So you can rest assured that if you have a job where you're in an office where everybody's talking so many different things, right? We're talking about last night's new episode of blah, blah, blah. Or about how the football game, or anyways, whatever. So we have the opportunity to go within ourselves and remember Kalashanaji and ask him how to remember him and how to serve him best. And sometimes he'll give us intelligence to say something to these people that might give some kind of enlightenment, or at least some kind of friendship with them, that they can trust us and understand that we are ever well-wishers, right? That we aren't judging them because they're talking about some nonsense in a sense like that. We're not even seeing it like that. We're seeing it as these persons have their bhava, whatever it may be, in football or office politics, and we appreciate whatever way Krishna is reciprocating with them. But we may be not so interested in that way of reciprocating with Krishna, so we are always within our heart praying to Krishna, how can I best serve you? And we can, came up to my mind is that within Bhagavatam class and within our rounds, and Krishna's there, and if we're having a tough time being present, we can use everything we have, all of our intelligence, all of our wits, all of our ways to control the mind so that we can be present. If we aren't present during Srimad Bhagavatam or our rounds, then we're really coming to a offense that the glories of Krishna are imagination. If we really understood that how wonderful the Srimad Bhagavatam class is, or not the Srimad Bhagavatam itself is, then we would be completely attentive. We would be drinking it like nectar and hearing, what does Srila Prabhupada say? What does Krishna says? What does Queen Kuti say? What does Vidura say? What are these characters? And we might even go as deep as to pray to them. Queen Kuti, please, when I read this Srimad Bhagavatam, when I hear it, please help me give some understanding. And then we can go to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, please help me understand Queen Kunti. Help it come into my heart that I can take this instruction that Queen Kunti is giving and we can make it practical in our life, and that we can use it to serve Krishna and his devotees. So Krishna is within us, and we can pray to him, and we can pray to the deity so that we can be attentive. That when we're chanting our rounds and the mind is struggling back and forth, right, we can exhaust our attempts to try to control it and bring it back. But then eventually we get to the point where we may say, Krishna, what can I do? I am so tiny. I am so insignificant. I do not know what to do. I surrender to you. Please give me some help so that I can chant your name in a way that I'm hearing and attentive. So this is Krishna working within and without us, and how he can practically take this instruction by Queen Kunti to understand that he's existing both within and without. And then she says something that's pretty interesting, which Srila Prabhupada clears up very nicely. His glasses. Look at the devotees. He's invisible. Yeah. So Krishna is within and without us, and we're praying to him, and we're praying to him in the form of the deity, we're praying to him in our heart, we're praying to him through his devotees, and then he's invisible to us. And Srila Prabhupada clearly explains that this is because we cannot understand Krishna. We can talk to him, and he can give us so many nice instructions, and he can be so kind in so many different ways, and yet he's still we hear the glories of him, and we say, I still don't understand you, Krishna. I still don't understand why you do like this. I do it, but I appreciate it. I enjoy it, right? You can go to the gopis, right, and their separation from Krishna. There's so many wonderful explanations about how inconceivable the gopis are appreciating Krishna. And as the highest form of love of Krishna, they're giving us an example of what we can strive to, right? Say, hey, I'd like to leave the temple and I'd like to bawl my eyes out because I'm not going to see Kalachandraji for maybe so many hours. We might wish like that, right? Or I'm going to work, and it's not that I'm crying because I'm going to work and work's miserable, but it's because I won't see Kalachandraji for so many hours. So the inconceivableness can even be seen in Krishna's devotees, but yet we can strive. We can strive to understand just a little bit about this love that the gopis have for Krishna, and that we can hopefully find in our life. Srila Prabhupada is speaking in the purport about the minute quality of the living entity, that we are small Ishvaras, right? We're small controllers. So we how as devotees do we control, right? Well, we get some service, right? And we get some service, and we have some little small control right there, right? The service might be mother, right? And we have some small control over our children. And then when we become mother or father, and we do it for some times, we realize how little control we actually have. But we have some, right? We have a little bit. And so we try to, not in so much of controlling the service, but trying to pray to Krishna and how to understand how to do our service better, how to get better and better and better, so that our quality of our service gets better. And so therefore, when we do this, we get some satisfaction in the heart. At first, we quite often don't have a satisfaction with the heart, and our lusty desires are still there, our lust, our greed, and stuff like that. So at first, we come into Krishna consciousness with that lust or greed of trying to control some service. It's okay, as long as we're not offending devotees, right? But through that service, and through understanding more and more that Krishna is the supreme, and realizing how little control we have, we start to refine that service and the quality of it, and it becomes more and more pure in the sense that it becomes less about our greed and our lust, and it becomes more about Krishna's pleasure. You'll devotees, myself, you can experience this time for re-evaluation about your quality of service, often when you find dissatisfaction. There's also been a time when you'll come in your service and you'll find dissatisfaction. Some people will call it, depression and stuff like that. But for the devotee, seeing everything as Krishna's mercy, we can take depression or this dissatisfaction as a hint. For instance, the body, it shows pain, right? And there's a pain for reason. It's not for no reason that the body is saying, I'm hurt. Because it wants you to understand and have some consciousness that we need to heal, right? So similarly, as devotees, we can understand that when we're finding some dissatisfaction or some depression or some mental anguish, we can, instead of seeing it as just, it's just what it is, or some kind of karmic activity, or some kind of just bad luck or this, we instead see it as Krishna's mercy. Okay, so I'm feeling dissatisfied. Okay, well maybe I need to reevaluate how my quality of my service is. I'm not saying that we say all of the service I did is just junk, or that we're instead seeing, how can I get better? So sometimes we can get to the mood of, we start to negative talk ourselves so much. Oh, my service is useless. I suck at the, excuse my language, I apologize for that. We are horrible at this. We have no talent. It's okay to a certain degree, right? To go into that understanding of humility, right? That we are so small and that we need Krishna. However, if we stay there too long, it's just the same as the person who's narcissistic. I'm so good, everything I do, it's the same thing. It's all about us. But if we can understand that our dissatisfaction is Krishna's help, his hand in guiding us to start to meditate and to go more deep and try to pray for that Krishna, I'm seeing that I'm having some dissatisfaction. I know that in pure devotional service there's complete satisfaction. We've been told that many, many times. I'm finding some satisfaction. I don't know what's up. I don't know why. But I'm asking you here now, right? Arjuna says this, right? I've lost all composure due to miserly weakness. I know my duty. I'm a soul surrendered to you. I'm now your disciple. Please instruct me. Right? So similarly, we come confused about our duty. We become stunned due to miserly weakness. Right? We become what's the word I'm looking? Incapacitated. What's it? Incapacitated, right? We become stunned by our depression or our lack of understanding our duty. But like Arjuna, we can go deep and start to say, Krishna, you are the supreme controller. You are my friend. Tell me what to do. I am your disciple. And then also, so that we can also have a very nice opportunity to also pray to our guru, right? In the same way as disciple. Gurus both, sometimes we have the opportunity to pray in the sense of guru, in the sense of Vani, and then there's a sense of praying to guru that he's still here, and then we get to ask him questions, or the sense of mentors. Point is that through dissatisfaction, through these things we call depression, we can look at them as a gift from Krishna to go deeper into our relationship. What's the quality? I know that devotional service is completely blissful. I understand that devotional service is completely satisfying. I can understand that I have some understanding about the glories of devotional service, yet I am unsatisfied. So please, instruct me how to get better. I'm a little bit short here. So I can look more into Srila Prabhupada's purport here, if you guys want to give me just a second, and then I'll go for about 5 more minutes, and then we'll ask questions. We were talking about Krishna being invisible, and how he's inconceivable, and we can also see this in the relationship between Queen Kuti and Krishna, right? She's treating Krishna as her nephew, but yet she has some understanding that he's the Supreme Personality, right? And so this is something that's so amazing. I remember when I was early in my being a devotee, I heard that Krishna let the Gopas beat him in wrestling. I was like, what? The Supreme Person, God, is letting the Gopas beat him in wrestling. And it hit me so hard in my heart of how kind Krishna is. Who wants to be with that person that's always winning? It's like, it's not even just, it could be our envious nature that gets us, but not even our envious nature. It's just not fun being around the person that's always winning. For instance, you're a parent and you play games with your child. In the compassion of the father or the mother, who in their right mind beats their kid every time and just pummels them? maybe some narcissistic people, right? You know, I'm teaching my kid a lesson. No, the compassion or the love of the parent is that, you know, every once in a while, or maybe some people, one parents always let the child win. They have complete capability to beat them. They never need to lose at tic-tac-toe or Connect Four, but yet every once in a while they accidentally put that Connect Four piece over here instead of right here where they'd win, right? Why? Because that love for the child, to see their smile when they win, to see the happiness, and for them to think, you know what, I beat mom or dad, you know? It's actually empowering to them, right? So similarly, Krishna is here as the greatest lover of our love of our life and the ultimate friend, and he's also giving us a chance to taste that reciprocation, or taste that leela of being able to beat our unbelievable friend. The Krishna is so cool and so great, and yet I beat him. And it's not about envy or the false ego. It's more of that it's not more of, it's the sense of just companionship, a sense of relationship. And like I was mentioning, we can taste a little bit of this in this life by how we sometimes let our friend maybe win an argument that he's totally wrong, and we go, okay, you win this time. Or as the parent that lets their child win. So my point in saying this is that the devotees, this inconceivable relationship of them knowing Krishna as the supreme person, but yet treating him like he's just a normal person, it can be quite inconceivable to us. But yet we do have some hints about this kind of relationship in the sense of hearing from the acharyas of how that the perspective of these devotees and how their understanding is Krishna is just their center. And he's just my little boy, as Mother Yashoda, and he's just, you know, my little son, Nanda Maharaj, and Radharani, and Radharani's thinking he's just my love of my life and everything. And so we're very lucky that we have these Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotees to show us that although Krishna is inconceivable, we can conceive that we have a relationship with him. We have a relationship with him where we see him as nothing but that center of our life. And it's more than just seeing him as the supreme controller or as the supreme Isvara, is that he's the supreme controller of our heart. And that's the relationship where we're trying to get. Okay, I'll end there. That was my spiel on Canto 1, Chapter 8:18, on the fly. So does anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts? Please. We have a mic that's working because of Srinath Krishna Babu and his wonderful technical skills. Thank you, Srinath Krishna Babu. You're very kind.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
First of all, we want to thank Nanda Braja Prabhu for subbing in so spontaneously. It's not easy, but fortunately these verses are so nice. And
yes.
Srila Prabhupada gives so much guidance.
Yeah. In sports, we sometimes say that we get a softball. So you get like a, you know what I mean? You get like the easy one, and so
you got an easy one.
Like I got a softball today. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. And also, I just have one comment. I want to thank you because I, was struggling with my japa the other day, and what you said in class today really helped me. We have to really throw ourselves into our japa. Really throw ourselves, not just part way, but all the way, all in. And I appreciate your comment there.
Thank you.
That was very nice. So Srila Prabhupada quoted Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Savrasya Chaham Radisana Vishto, Matashmitir Kanamapanam Cha, Virashya Sarvaya Hamavidyo, Vedanta Kriveda Vedeva Cha. So Sri Krishna says, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. The question is that Lord Shri Krishna is saying that he is the source of remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And yet I see as bodies get older, like an older body, that the memory is a little missing. You know, for example, Anuradha's son came in, and I couldn't remember his name, right?
Yes.
Of course I remember Anuradha, but I drew blank. And a lot of times what I used to say that it just means he'll get initiated someday and he'll have another name anyway. But the point is that why does this happen? Is it just is it a mode to humble the older people, to make them more humble, or what is it?
I once, in some frustration and some dissatisfaction, I asked my Guru Maharaj, Hanumat Presaka Swami, I said, Maharaj, we're trying so hard in this, I'm trying this Krishna conscious process, and it's always right out there, I'm never, and I'm having a tough time taking it up seriously. What's the issue? He said, don't worry. He said, old age is coming, and it's the best of friends of devotees. And he explained that when we become old, we start to lose those things that we attach as the body, as us. Our mind, our intelligence, our remembrance, these different things. And as devotees, the older we get, when these things go away, we start to rely on Krishna most, and more and more. And so the old age to the devotee is the best of friends, because it makes us have to depend on Krishna more and more and more. It starts to humble us in the sense of how little we are, so small and minute we are. And so therefore we start to absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness. The key, one of the keys, which I'll really focus on right here, is humility. We cannot absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness without humility and understanding how small and dependent we are on Krishna. So this is a great boon of the old age for the devotee, because our humility will strike us more and more and more, the less that we get to identify with the body, because you know what? Why do I want to identify with something that's dying and falling short all the time? I know when we're young, it's easy to say, this is me. Oh, my remembrance is so good, therefore it's me. Oh, my bodily features are so pretty. Oh, this is me. Then they start to sag and forget and stuff, and oh, that's not me. That's pretty, So this is actually Krishna's great gift, is that yes, sometimes, not sometimes, our memory will falter in some ways. Our bodily our false ego attached to what this body is will start to deteriorate, and then we start to meditate more on those things that are most important. What verse is it to you, Mother Kunti, that's in your heart? And then, I can remember that one. Whatever it is. I remember this about my Guru Maharaj. I remember hearing this story about Srila Prabhupada. And we start to say, maybe these things aren't so important, but these things are important. And then at the time of death, when our whole life flashes between our lives, what things come up? Those impressions that we've been meditating on. Those impressions that we've been meditating on, the verses, the stories of Krishna, the times that we got to see Srila Gurudev, the times that we got to go to Vrindavan, we got the times that we, we want to find those impressions and hold on to them deeply.
Just one sentence. Thus the Lord is not only all-pervading, he is also localized in every individual heart. He awards the different fruitive results.
Say that in part?
He awards the different fruitive results in the purport of 15:15.
So it's interesting, right? We can see that this is also happening to the people that have no interest in Krishna consciousness. So we could, as devotees, we can say this is karma, but we don't do that. We don't go to chemicals mixing and this and that, or karma or this or that. We say this is Krishna's mercy. Everything emanates from him. This is Krishna's mercy. I no longer believe in the sense of my, okay, I'll retract this in one way, but I'm going to say it very strong in one way. We don't go to the, it's my karma. This is Krishna's arrangement. This is nice. Okay, yes, I'm not going to displace the charyas who humbly also pray in the sense of, I deserve so much more, and this is my karma, and Krishna giving it. So there is that part. There is some way of praying like that some devotees find attractive. But from my understanding is that we're ultimately getting past the sense that this is karma or luck or this, and saying, nope, my love, my everything, my Krishna is giving this, and you know what? It's for my benefit. Hare Krishna. Yes. And right here, like the verse, that I'm remembrance, forgetfulness, and he says congenite. Srila Prabhupada in this verse says congenite, but in the verse it's a different word, right? What is the different word? In 5:15, how does he translate it? Forget remembrance. But how does he translate it? Forgetfulness, remembrance, and what?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. There we go. But Srila Prabhupada says in this part, congenite. I thought that was interesting. That in the Srila Prabhupada does like that sometimes, right? He'll use the same word and kind of like shift it in the purport for what he's speaking about that time in the moment, and keeping the translation perfect, right? Like not been. Yes. Yes. Congenite and knowledge. Okay. Any other questions or comments or thoughts, please?
Thanks for the class, Nanda Braja Prabhu.
Thank you.
I was thinking especially of this point that you were speaking about control. And we see time and again that Krishna uses this word Ishvara, that he is the Ishvara. Right? Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridesha arjuna. He says, I am the controller, and I reside within everybody's heart. We see in Brahma Samhita the first word is Ishvara Parama Krishna. That this quality that Krishna is the controller is emphasized so much. Because like you said, we have this innate thinking that we are the controllers in so many different ways. Even when we are devotees and we are trying to surrender, many times we want to do things because I want to do it that way. Because you were speaking about surrender and following the spiritual master or authorities, but in the world that we live in, we are constantly doubting the authorities, and because that doesn't come naturally to us, because the authorities that we're looking up to have always exploited us. Right? It's not an unnatural thing, but based on our lived experiences, the authorities, the masters that we have surrendered to in this world have not really been good to us. So we bring that propensity into devotional service also, and say, I want to do it this way, not thinking, how does Krishna want me to do this, or how does my spiritual master want me to do this? Instead, it is like, I want to do it this way. This tendency of us being controllers in very subtle ways is always there. So thank you for bringing up that point. And she says the same thing here also, that Krishna, you are the Ishvara. You are the controller. And another thing I found very interesting was, she is trying to substantiate why she is paying obeisances to Krishna. Right? Because she's explicitly saying, I am doing this because you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of the relationship that they have, that she's the aunt and he's the niece, and the etiquette would say that she's elderly to him, and she shouldn't pay obeisances to. And it's not required that she pay obeisances to Krishna, but she is following the etiquette, and at the same time telling Krishna that I'm doing this because you're not just my nephew. You might be younger than me, but you're still the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it was interesting about the point of how she's trying to manage that aspect, right? But because she didn't have to do it. She could just pay her obeisances and didn't have to really substantiate why she was trying to do it. But she's saying, I'm paying obeisances to you because you are the Purusham Tvadyam, you're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Which was interesting, that all these devotees, exalted devotees, are trying to maintain etiquette, where it is absolutely not even necessary, right? Everybody at that point knew Krishna was somebody special because he had just saved Maharaj Parikshit. Even from that perspective, even if he was not God, it was something that was amazing that he had done. And as a gratitude, sometimes you could even do that, right? But even then, she's trying to substantiate. I found that point interesting.
Yeah, this etiquette, these two things go hand in hand very nicely. The control of our service and the etiquette we do it in. Because we're going to do our service and we're going to have that control. We're going to think we should do it like this, we should do it like that. But the etiquette we have, why we do it, is very important. When Akrura goes and takes Krishna away from the gopis, you'll hear the gopis say, he didn't even counsel us. He didn't even say anything to him. And Uddhava later has to go. He knows the great offense he gave to the gopis, and he goes to the Yamuna and tries to purify, and then he has the vision of Krishna. So in our service, in our control of our service, we need to make sure that we are doing it with Vaishnava etiquette. For instance, one thing that's really hit me hard is that I need to be more compassionate when I'm doing my service and I do rub somebody the wrong way. Instead of saying, oh, it's my service, they'll get over it. No. The example is being given that if we are, yes, do your service, and if you rub somebody the way, then you should go and you should also do something to try to repair that relationship or show your good character by saying, hey, earlier I was doing the service and I hope that you understand I was doing my service, but I did not mean to hurt you. I did not mean to be offensive. So please, if I was, please forgive me. So this is, because we, anyways, my point being is that it's amazing how these two come together, is the control of our service that you were speaking about being Ishvara and that we have it, and then the etiquette that we do, and Queen Kunti's etiquette, and that we should learn how to. And the wonderful thing is that the reason how we'll get more understanding how to do these nicely is through making mistakes.
Actually, I remember. So many of the times we think of these as principles and details, right? We can figure out the details, but okay, the principles we know. But I remember this conversation that Tamal Krishna Maharaj had with Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, how do we know what are principles and what are details, what can be? And Prabhupada said that requires some intelligence. So initially we might not have that to figure out what are the details and what are the principles. So we are given certain things to do. And initially we might be like, why should I do this? Like, I really don't get why I have to do this. But then we keep doing it till we get the intelligence to really figure out, oh, this is why I was asked to do this. Many of the times we have this rebellious nature. Like, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it in another way. But why am I being told to do it in this way? Again, this controllership, right, comes into the picture, and we are trying to, our mind can play in so many different ways to substantiate exactly what I want to do and give me 100 reasons on why I have to do it in certain ways. So,
Hare Krishna. Okay. Well, in class today, thank you all. I really appreciate this opportunity to serve, even on the spontaneousness of it. I really, I'm appreciating some service. I pray that you guys all, or ask that you guys all bless me, that I may be able to perform any devotional service for this community, Sri Radha Kalashanaji's community, and Srila Prabhupada and themselves. And please ask you to forgive me for any of my offenses that I have committed, and please accept my humble obeisances. Vanche kalpatarubhyas cha, kripa sindhuvyeva cha, patitanam pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Antikoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness ki